Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, and I'm joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck, and we're going to go over every game from Sunday of Week 10. 4 teams are on bye this week: the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Titans, and the Dallas Cowboys. And before we get into the games, we just wanted to mention the biggest and worst story in the NFL this week. Dallas Cowboys defensive end Marshawn Kneeland died Thursday morning at just 24 years old. The Cowboys put out a statement. Quote, "It is with extreme sadness that the Dallas Cowboys share that Marshawn Kneeland tragically passed away this morning. Marshawn was a beloved teammate and member of our organization. Our thoughts and prayers regarding Marshawn are with his girlfriend, Catalina, and his family," end quote. I mean, yeah, this is a horrible story. I mean, Marshawn Kneeland scored a touchdown on Monday Night Football, and like 48 hours later, he's dead. And it's horrible. Honestly, I have nothing to add to this story, except I just wanted to take this chance to note that the National Suicide Hotline phone number, they actually just made it easier to use. So the National Suicide Hotline number, you can now just call 988. It's like 911. It's just the 3 numbers. It's 988, and you can call 988, but you can actually also text 988. So you can call it, you can text it, and you can even go to their website and just chat right there on the site. So wanted to just give that information. And our thoughts go to Marshawn Kneeland's family and his loved ones, and we can move on to the rest of the show. Obviously, there's never a good transition from something like this to the regular show. But we're going to give it a try anyway. So we're going to get into all the games for Week 10. But first, we're going to take a quick break. This episode is presented by Chime. Bank smarter this season. Fantasy football is all about strategy. Well, here's a winning strategy for your money. Trade banking fees for fee-free banking. 1.5% cash back. Getting paid when you say, and a higher APY on your savings. That's a lineup that wins. Stop banking the old way. Bank smarter through Chime. Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and the secured Chime Visa credit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. members FDIC. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. Details at chime.com/fees info. With a qualifying direct deposit, earn 1.5% cash back on eligible secured Chime Visa credit card purchases. APY means annual percentage yield. Learn more at chime.com. All right, we're getting at all the games, starting with the Germany game. International games are back.
Berlin.
So first things first, I give the West Coasters here a lot of shit. Your friendly reminder, if you have any of the Colts or Falcons, which a lot of people probably do, set your lineups on Saturday because there's no way you're waking up for this game on Sunday morning.
Also, I would just like to say, if you are in a league where, I don't know, Michael Pittman, who's banged up right now, is ruled out at the last second and you're asleep, if you're the commissioner of that league, allow that person to retroactively swap somebody in. It's okay if they were asleep. Just make sure you tell them. Thing. Yes, tell them that the night before, hey, if there are any last second injuries, we can switch that out.
Well, all the Australians think
be a reasonable person.
The Australians set their lineups at 2 a.m. on Monday, so they think you're kind of weak. So the Falcons are at air quotes the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are favored to win this game by 6.5 points. Colts are coming off the loss to Pittsburgh.
Hell yeah.
Which I kind of thought would be the biggest thing heading in this game, but now the Colts just added Sauce Gardner for 2 firsts and A.D. Mitchell, which is unbelievable. I have no idea what impact Sauce Gardner will have in this game. It's not like a simple defense with Indianapolis. I believe they're on bye the week after this, so I have no idea how many snaps he's going to play. I kind of think the Colts are going to win this game regardless, because frankly, I know the Colts just got rocked. We can go into the specifics, but I think the Steelers just kind of caught the Colts by surprise last week. I think they had a cheeky game plan. They really switched up what they were doing. They played a lot more split field coverage than I think what the Colts were anticipating. Sometimes that just throws you off. It throws off the call sheet. And I don't know, Jalen Ramsey really was covering Tyler Warren. I don't think the Falcons have anyone who can replicate that. I don't think the Falcons have anyone on their defensive line that can replicate Cam Hayward and Keanu Benton and the disruption in the interior. I think the Falcons edge rushers are like a little bit on the smaller side. I don't know. So I think this is a big bounce back spot for the Colts offensive line, and just, a week where the Colts don't have 6 turnovers. I do think the Colts are going to win this game. However, I acknowledge that every game that goes to Europe is a little bit weird at a minimum, right, DK?
This is your policy that you never bet on Europe games because they're so weird. Guys' body clocks are all messed up. The week of practice prior to the game is very different. It's all very different for everybody in these games. And so I think it kind of it just adds more variables to the equation. But I will say, I agree with you. I mean, the Colts turned the ball over 6 times, and they actually almost
lost by
off.
7.
They lost by 1 touchdown. I mean, they made it close in the end, but I don't know. I'm agreeing with you on this one. I think the Colts look good in this game. I think they'll have a good chance to bounce back here. I don't know what impact Sauce Gardner is going to have, but I bet they'll be pumped up about that. And he's practicing. It looks like he'll probably play at least a little bit. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot to add. I think the Colts offense will get going again in this game.
I agree. Not that anyone's worried about benching Jonathan Taylor or something, but I do think Jonathan Taylor is going to get back. Michael Pittman has this glute injury. He was missed Wednesday. He practiced Thursday. I feel like Michael Pittman will play, but, ass injury, it's a long flight. Who knows?
This is a nice game for Berlin, gotta say. Pretty good here. Do you think Bill made the joke that Goodell likes Berlin over London? I kind of feel like I feel like Goodell's like, look, we already kind of got London locked down. Like they're invested, they like the NFL.
At this point,
yeah, it's like we need to continue to like hype up these other cities that have only had a few games, because this isn't the first Berlin game, but there's only been like 1 or 2.
The Chiefs played the Dolphins there a couple years ago. Yeah, there's been a few, but they have
just a few
better teams.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how it works. I do think some teams have different marketing rights to certain countries. Like I think. Like the Jaguars, I believe, have the marketing rights in England. I forget exactly where it's, but I think the Chiefs have the rights in Germany, so they do get better games. But
it would be cool if these international cities, it was like a draft, and they had to draft the teams that they want international rights to.
It's the other way, right? The teams draft the countries. It's a little. What was the term?
See, that feels weird to me. I don't like that as much. I feel like the countries should get to draft the teams.
It's like spheres of influence. It's a little colonization-y, but like the Dolphins are going to play the Dolphins play in Spain. I believe the Dolphins have the international rights to market in Madrid in Spain, because the Dolphins are already have like an infrastructure for Spanish language. Like the Cowboys and Dolphins, I just think they have more, so the Cowboys have Mexico, because obviously the Cowboys are putting out more like the Cowboys already have like play-by-play and radio and everything in Spanish anyway. I think Miami has that too. So they're like, we'll take Spain. Like it's stuff like that. Yeah, so they've thought about it. But yeah, they just kind of carve up the world, which they've, it's a little weird.
God, this game for the Falcons is like
it's a little weird.
Yeah, NFL taking over. NFL's its own country, really. The Falcons are 3-5, and feels like they're on the precipice of like kind of being out of it. I mean, the Bucs are 6-2. They're probably not going to win the division anyway, but the Panthers are starting to win some games. And it's like the Falcons do kind of have to go now if they want to do anything. They've lost 3 in a row. Falcons were 3-2. Now they're 3-5. So I don't know. I think this is going to be a weird game. I don't want to be involved with it. I think fantasy, it's actually kind of easy. It's like you're playing London.
The guys.
Yeah, you're playing Bijan. You're playing Jonathan Taylor. I think honestly, Kyle Pitts has been serviceable enough that you can probably slot him in. The Colts have been bad against tight ends. Pittman, you're playing if he's out there. Downs has been pretty good. Warren, obviously.
Downs, especially if Pittman can't go.
Yeah. Downs has been good.
Midway through the season, what's the temperature check on Michael Penix? How are you feeling about him in terms of just overall confidence that he's good?
I think Penix has like 5 plays a game where he looks great.
Right.
Like there are high level plays that Penix makes every game, but like there's still pocket stuff with him that I don't feel great about sometimes. He still makes stupid decisions. Like he'll have a terrible pick every other game. I don't know. I still feel like there's growing pains with him that he's working out. Again, he's only played 10 games in the NFL. Like he's pretty green. 11 games maybe he's played. So, but I do think he has the arm talent to make like almost any throw, and he does sling it, which I like for fantasy.
And for this game, the Falcons' offensive line's not in an awesome place. We've talked for a couple weeks now Caleb Gary, the right tackle, which again, Penix is a lefty, so it's kind of like his left tackle. Elijah Wilkinson's there, not been awesome this season. Both guards are hurt. I don't know if they're play or not, but even if the guards end up playing, they're banged up. Chris Lindstrom and Matthew Bergeron are both on the injury report this week. Not great. Atlanta has a lot of investment in their offensive line. A lot of those guys are banged up. So
plus on the other side of the ball, Heifetz, sorry to interrupt you, is that DeForest Buckner, I just saw, is not going to travel with the team to Berlin. He's out on Sunday's game with
who's Indianapolis' defensive tackle. That actually is thank you for telling me that. That's huge, because DeForest Buckner is certainly the Colts' best interior defensive lineman. So just kind of like a giant cross, kind of just neutralized there in the interior defensive line. I agree. The one thing I'll say, I'm curious to see if the Drake London stuff keeps up, where I really need it. Like when you watch Michael Penix at Washington with Rome Odunze in college, they would just chuck it up. And like, obviously Odunze was open a lot, but when he wasn't open, Michael Penix really had a gift for just giving Odunze this jump ball. And I felt like last week, Drake London Penix kind of just decided I'm going to do this all year, even when
Yeah.
Christian Gonzalez was there. So I kind of just not every week you're like, oh, 3 touchdowns for Drake London. He'll do that again. I wonder if not seeing him 3 touchdowns again, but I do wonder if Penix is going to just throw Drake London a jump ball every quarter. Like I really, you know what I mean? Like he's just going to just be like, all right.
If Penix can get a little bit better to the point where everyone's decided that he's like you're comfortable with him as a starter on your team for years to come, like Penix to London could be one of the more special like wide receiver quarterback combos in fantasy particularly.
Mm-hmm.
The most overused cliche I think is like, oh, this when you throw a 50-50 ball to this guy, it's like 80-20. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really only true for like 5 guys.
Yeah, it's like
like
the
Justin
Mike
Jefferson.
Evans
It's like
and
Devontae.
Yeah. Evans, Jefferson, T. Higgins.
Yeah,
I do think Drake London is in that club now.
for sure.
So we'll see.
He's a hooper playing football.
But I do think we've been saying we'll get to a round of Winger 107 at the end. But all right, getting to the early games here. I do think one of the more interesting games of the whole day, DK, the New England Patriots are at Tampa Bay.
This is a really good game. 2 good teams. The Patriots are 7-2. The Bucs are 6-2. I think it's going to be interesting to see if the Buccaneers can get their offense jump started again, because they started out the year really hot. They were basically firing on all cylinders and living on kind of just crazy plays deep down the field. Emeka Egbuka, Mike Evans, and they had Bucky Irving going early on, and now they've lost Evans. Godwin is not back. Bucky Irving is still injured, still not practicing, probably, I guess, looking like he's definitely not going to play this
Doesn't
week.
look like it.
And so they've definitely, I don't know, I guess they've cooled off quite a bit. And Baker Mayfield in particular has cooled off. If you look at Baker's first 6 games this year, he had 12 touchdowns to 1 pick, 1 total turnover, only 10 sacks. He was averaging over 250 yards a game passing and 109 passer rating. And now, over his last 2 games, which was a blowout loss to Detroit and a blowout win over the Saints, he has 1 touchdown and 1 pick, 2 turnovers, 7 sacks, 190 passing yards a game, 71 passer rating, 28% success rate as a passer, which is really low. So I think the Buccaneers kind of have to get their offense going, and they've been banged up, offensive line, running back, receiver, all that. So I understand why they're struggling a little bit, but I think this is a good opportunity to show that they still, I guess, have it against a pretty good defense for the Patriots here.
I talked about this game this morning with Off the Pike with Brian Barrett, which is the Ringer podcast here, the local Boston one. And we were talking about how the Buccaneers offensive line kind of also collapsed in that Bucky. Like it's easy to look at the splits with Bucky Irving, but the offensive line, it's funny how much you go through the league right now. And it's like, who's destroyed on defensive line, who's destroyed on offensive line, and how much that's the story of so many teams every year. But this year in particular, I feel like it's come in bunches. And the Bucs, it's like all offensive line. It's like Cody, I always get his name wrong. Cody Mauch. And like he's hurt, obviously Tristan Wirfs started the year with the injury. By the time he came back, it was kind of rocked, Glucadiki, like he's hurt. So I think the Bucs offensive line, because they had the bye, sometimes, I mean, they moved Grant Barton, the center, out to tackle at one point because he played tackle in college, but still center going to left tackle in the NFL. I think that sometimes the backups, even just getting the bye to freaking gel and it's important for the offensive line to be able to move together. So I'm curious to see if the Bucs will be able to run block better going forward, especially if Sean Tucker gets the ball more. But yeah, the Patriots are not the team you want to get that jump start going with right now. So I'm nervous. Craig, you said you have your favorite league. You actually have both Trevion Henderson and Rachaad White.
Yeah, it's a weird situation because typically in fantasy, when you have a running back who's starting the game, you should like almost play them without thinking about it. It's like starting running back equals starting in fantasy. But it is tricky because the Bucs and the Pats are both really good against the run. The Patriots have not given up a 50-yard rusher this season.
Wow.
And Rachaad White was not particularly awesome since Bucky's been out. He's a good receiving back. He got a little banged up, so I do wonder if the bye allowed him to get healthy and he'll start playing the majority of the snaps because they started to become a split with him and Sean Tucker. Mm-hmm. But like I think you're probably playing him. He's a good receiving back. And then Trevion Henderson, it's like, I don't think Ramondre's playing. Trevion did get like 75, 80% of the snaps. Like he got what you kind of wanted him to. I don't know if the fantasy production reflected that, but I think you kind of have to ride that in the. You
don't have to ride Henderson because he's burned you. I do think that Henderson's going to have. I do think he's going to have a good week this week, if only because the Bucs are going to blitz Drake May a lot, and I think he's going to have to get the ball out. And I do think Trevor Henderson's going to have at least like 4 catches in this game. I don't know if they're going to be able to run with much success, but I do think Henderson's going to get a lot of touches. And I'm very curious to see how Drake May handles the Todd Bowles blitzing.
Yeah. That's kind of the one note I had on this game for the Patriots is Drake May. And I didn't realize this until somebody said it the other day. I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. But Drake May, despite how amazing he's been all year, the one hiccup so far has been sacks. He's actually second in the NFL in sacks taken. Only Cam Ward, who has 38 sacks this year, has taken more than Drake May, who has 34. His sack rate is obviously also bad, second worst to Ward. And Tampa Bay, like Heifetz alluded to, is 8th in the NFL at sacks. So they are going to blitz the hell out of him, hope to pressure him, speed him up, take him down. So it's going to be up to Trayvon Henderson to number one, protect him, and then also give him an outlet, where they're getting the ball out quickly and kind of like doing that. So, as good as Drake May has been, I think that's the one thing to note here is that the hiccup has been the sacks, and that's what Tampa Bay is really good at.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was also surprised to see that just because the Patriots, like they're in success rate and like Drake May was success rate,
right,
which is one of the few stats that does have the right name. Just how often are you keeping the chains on schedule, basically? Like 1 yard in 1st and 10 doesn't help you. 1 yard in 3rd and 1 really does help you. Just basically accounting for how actual help you are doing the offense. You want to be in 2nd and 5, not 2nd and 9. And the Patriots are first in that. And it's funny to think that you could actually be taking basically every play that isn't success must be a sack, because it's interesting. You can be first in success rate and still have that many sacks. But I mean,
yeah, it's like misses and swishes. He's basically like getting sacked at 2nd and 15, but then he converts.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the fact that he's playing so well and connecting on deep shots and stuff, that's, I guess, why I was surprised, because sacks can be, they're not quite a turnover, but they lead to so many punts.
They're
like
precursor.
It's a drive killer. Yeah,
sacks and holds
typically are.
It doubles, it almost triples your odds of punting, a sack or holding penalty. But yeah, so we'll see. And then the Patriots just want to know, they have like 3 hard games left. It's like the Bucks. I think the Ravens and the Bills, and other than that, so we'll see. But for fantasy purposes, it's not going to matter. For
Who
the
do you
real
guys like in
Patriots,
this?
I don't want to bet this game.
No, I'm just saying. Do you think the Patriots will win, or what are you thinking?
I think I would lean New England.
Yeah, but we don't need to bet on it. I'm just curious.
I kind of do too.
I think just the Bucks are so beat up right now.
The season is more fun if the Bucks come out of the bye and look spry again. I would hope they come out and look healthier, but I don't know if I want to bank on it. Another game that I think is surprisingly interesting. So the Baltimore Ravens are at Minnesota this week, and you've got the rejuvenated JJ McCarthy. I don't know, Craig, I think this is like a huge game for JJ McCarthy, don't you think?
Career defining. It's kind of like this
time.
Is a fork in the road week for him, I think. If he loses this game, I'm not sure he ever plays in the NFL again.
Yeah, it's possible. He might just have to bench him.
So yeah, he in a presser. Heifetz, I saw you link this and then I watched it.
Oh, yeah. He's talking about how he basically was talking, because he's still doing the thing where he meditates for the games. But he also, after the game last week, looked like crazy intense.
Yes, in the locker room, he didn't blink, yeah.
I don't know exactly what the question was, but I believe the question was something like, what's with being like a little bit of a psychopath sometimes?
It was basically asking about his mindset on game days.
Yes, and his answer was basically he's like, I'm a nice guy, but then 9 comes out.
He's like, I call him 9.
Should not have said any of this.
He's like speaking in the third person. He calls himself 9. I'm like, ugh.
And his answer to a degree I get, which is like basically that mode you have to be on where you're a fucking Kobe Bryant killer. Is like, it's hard to maintain that for 3.5 hours. And he was talking about trying to wave that. Craig, do you think this is cool or not?
It's only cool when it works. It's only cool when you win. I don't know. I don't know if the upside is worth the downside, to be honest, because it's cool if you're like a psycho. I call myself 9 and you win. That's awesome. But if you're doing that when you're losing, it looks really lame. And I almost think you should just kind of do neither and just be normal. But usually people like this, it's who they are. I do believe this is who he is. So I can't really hold it against him. He's just one of those types.
There's a tremendous amount of early career Russell Wilson energy.
Yes.
With JJ McCarthy.
I mean, he's literally meditating.
There was a famous thing on, it was either Sunday night or Monday Night Football, and Russell Wilson, they had the big camera that goes around in top of the field or whatever, or the sky cam following him around during preview or pregame.
Did on
and
air.
Russell Wilson's just fucking talking to himself and doing every little bit. It's just so performative. It's so cheesy. It's so corny. It's like, Seahawks fans for the longest time is like, we love him because he's our cornball, but he's definitely so corny.
That one, I think, I don't think JG McCarthy's as performative, and I do think
he's telling them about his persona. Yes, he is.
Well, he was asked
if
about
you have a persona, don't say anything about it.
They didn't ask. I mean, they said like, "What's your game day prep?" And then he was like, "I call myself 9."
And even if he actually does this, you don't have to tell anyone about it.
True.
Is kind of what I'm saying.
That should be like the thesis of like
Wilson.
the 2020s or just like the internet age.
Yeah,
it's like
we all
just
know.
because you do it doesn't mean people need to.
Dude,
We
yeah,
all know too much about each other. It's
Way
like
too
Russell
much
Wilson
about each other.
talking. Remember when I can't remember what injury he had. He was like talking about how he's walking up and down the aisles in the airplane on the plane on the way to some
Oh my
game.
God, he was rehabbing 19 hours a day.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you don't say that. Just do it.
6 a.m. to noon, boom, that's day 1.
Oh my God.
Noon to 5 p.m., that's day 2. That was essentially Russ being like, while you guys are sleeping, I'm stretching. People are stretching me out while I'm sleeping.
Yeah. So anyways, there's definitely like a lot of early career Russell Wilson energy here. And
Again, it's
Speaking
cool,
of
but
Russ, did
they
we ever
lose.
even mention his response to when Sean Payton said I was hoping Russ would play instead of
Oh, yeah.
Jackson Dart?
this made me
And
team
then-
Russ, by the way.
Well,
And then
I loved
Russ
it.
actually posted and tweeted. What did he say? He said, like, I'm pulling it up because he said, Russell Wilson posted classless but not surprised. Didn't realize you're still bounty hunting 15 years later through the media. Dude, I'm telling Russell Wilson did not write that. Russell Wilson.
no, he definitely didn't. But
I don't care. I love it.
yeah, I like that he posted it.
That's
I
like
don't
the
think he
first
posted
time I've seen him get that salty.
I'm saying I like that he approved it to be posted. Like I like that he was willing to let that be on his page.
Ironically, I think if Sean Payton had seen that edge from Russell Wilson in Denver, he would have played
He
it.
would have kept him.
Like, it was,
I know, seriously.
Anyway.
Which great quarterback do you think is the least performative off the field?
that's a great question.
Ooh.
It used to be Herbert because he went to Sport Clips, and now he's dating Madison
now
Beer.
he's dating
And he's
Madison
sitting
Beer.
courtside at
He's
Lakers
not
games.
going to Sport Clips no more. Even
And
if he has
no
the
way.
brand deal.
No more.
So Herbert has been dethroned. Joe Burrow, I mean, just went as the Joker
Not
for
Burrow.
Halloween, so it's not certainly not Burrow.
Have you seen his haircut? No.
the
You know-
cigar in the locker room?
It might be Lamar.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
100% the right answer.
Lamar
Lamar
is-
doesn't fucking care.
Do anything.
Lamar won't even hang out with other quarterbacks in the offseason. Lamar doesn't do Lamar when he sponsors a company, it's like his friend from high school is like, I made a thing to work out on football fields, and Lamar will just go to some high school in Florida and just use it, and someone takes an iPhone video, and it's like that. Like Lamar truly doesn't give a fuck.
Because I think Josh Allen is like a very likable guy and an understated guy, but he is dating a superstar, and he does a lot of like media, he does a lot of press, although he does a great job doing it, but he is everywhere. Mahomes is like too famous and does a lot. Might be
Lamar's
Lamar.
agent is his mother.
Is his
his
mom.
marketing manager is his mother, and he's the only athlete I've ever seen that when he posted his injury update and his contract stuff, I'm like, he 100% wrote that. Like a few years ago when he was like the Ravens were saying he wasn't healthy, and he's like, here's what happened to my knee. I have a PCL. This is what the doctor told me. And I'm like, he wrote this. I could tell.
Yeah. So
I like that question, Craig. It's a good question.
So the Ravens have won 2 straight. They're now 3-5. This game's in Minnesota. Dude, I got to say, so Lamar came back last week. They played the Dolphins. I don't think I've seen an easier looking win this year. Sometimes the Ravens have a way about them where like it does not even look like they're trying. It is
Everything's either really easy or really hard.
Lamar sits in the pocket, like flicks the ball to a wide open Mark Andrews in the end zone, or Zay Flowers just like over the field, or Lamar scampers for like 10 yards. I don't even think personally Lamar was that healthy, or they were being very conservative with him in that game. He ran for 14 yards. He basically just sat in the pocket. They only threw for 200, but they were so efficient. Derrick Henry ran the ball great. And now they've had 10 more days to rest because that was a Thursday night game. And I kind of think they were probably on the fence because they didn't play Lamar the game before that because it would have been 2 games in 5 days. It's probably too much of a risk. But I feel like now Lamar is going to be fully healthy, and I am fully back on board of the Ravens being a juggernaut again. I think the defense is quietly way better.
That's big. Yeah.
Over the last 3 weeks, the Ravens have given up. Wait, I want to make sure I get this right. They went from dead last in points per drive to third best in the last 3 weeks.
They're back.
Granted, they
That's
haven't
awesome.
played some of the best teams, but I'm like fully on board with the Ravens being one of the best teams in the league right now.
And it's funny because that bookends with the whole that you're right. Like the first time the Ravens looked like knife through butter was the first game Lamar Jackson started in 2019, which was against the Dolphins, which was 59-10.
Yeah.
And then really the last 6
yeah.
years they've had these games. Yeah, remember that? And like they've had these games where it was like it looks like those Dolphins games. I agree though, Craig. Herbstreit kind of nailed it. I'm curious if you think, DK. I make fun of Herbstreit sometimes on that Amazon game, but he pointed out that
I respect Kirk, but man, that's the most boring broadcast.
It is a difficult, I will be diplomatic and say it is difficult to host a very long Saturday morning pregame show about 30 different college football games, then announce a different college football game in the same day, but 2 days earlier you have to announce an Ireland NFL game. That is not a position to succeed. It's difficult. So anyway, but my point being, he nailed it that Lamar's pocket movement.
Maybe they should have gotten an NFL guy to do it.
I know. It's almost like
a lot of people that watch the NFL, you know.
You can tell he doesn't love the game as much as he does. You can tell he loves college football way more. His energy is just different. His enthusiasm is different. And him and Al Michaels, it's just not.
Even people are turning on Michaels a little bit. Yeah.
Michaels is kind of mailing it in.
He is.
If you told me that, I feel like we're going to find out at some point that Al Michaels, actually, it's been the AI Al Michaels for like 2 years.
Dude, you know how old Al Michaels is?
He's like 83.
He's 80. He's 80.
He sounds wild.
In my head, he's like 80. 72. He's fucking 80. He sounds great for 80, but I'm like, this guy's 80 and he's doing Thursday Night Football, something that hasn't been around for the first 60 years of his fucking life. Like, he probably still thinks it's a dumb game.
So true.
I think it's crazy when you can see video of Al Michaels in like the fucking 70s and 60s.
Dude, he called the Miracle on Ice game.
Like that's
between
insane.
Russia and the USA. He called that game
years ago.
What year was that?
1980.
In the 80s.
Dude, that's so
Do You Believe in Miracles was Al Michaels. And now he's doing Jags-Titans Thursday Night Football.
1980. Craig, I wasn't even born yet.
Yes. And Al Michaels was a full-grown man in the prime of his career.
Oh, that's great.
It's a long time to be announcing games. Actually, maybe I'm coming around now, and I'm like, you know what? He should be mailing it. He's 80.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
I respect
He's seen it all. He doesn't care. How do we feel about McCarthy versus the Ravens in this game, the Ravens defense, which is not all the way back, but they're getting important players back. McCarthy, both, I think, made the throws he needed to make last week. Wasn't asked to do a ton. Didn't necessarily, wasn't dicing it up on the Lions defense. I think that
he was more impressive than I expected, but I think the accolades have gone a little overboard because of how much people were talking about how he was soft benched, people being me. And, I think people are like, they got very upset about that. And then when he came in and played pretty well, it made it out to like it was a Hall of Fame performance. I think it's somewhere right in the middle. But I like the Ravens more in this game personally. Where are you guys on this game?
I'm fully on the Ravens. I think this game against Minnesota is tough. It's like Brian Flores, the last time they played Lamar, like really handled him and confused him and did a lot of blitz stuff with him. But I don't know. That was like 4 years ago. I just think, I think this matters a lot more. I shouldn't say it matters a lot more because it matters a lot to Minnesota as well because they're like in the middle of a fight in their division as well. But I guess I'm just more confident in everything the Ravens are doing than trusting McCarthy on a week-to-week basis. It's
like you can go through everything. I'm taking Lamar over JJ McCarthy. And if I lose, I lose.
Also, the Vikings run game is not working that well. But Aaron Jones is hurt. Jordan Mason's been pretty underwhelming. It's like they're putting this a lot on McCarthy, even though they probably don't want to.
Jordan Mason's tough to play when Aaron Jones plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but that's one thing that I think Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings coach, is trying to do is when McCarthy plays, they run more. They were throwing more with Wentz.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to just keep things a little bit more balanced for McCarthy, make it a little easier on like play action, things like that. So they're much closer to 50-50 running the ball when McCarthy plays. No Aaron Jones, or if Aaron Jones is banged up, I don't know. I think it's going to be harder for fantasy across the board when McCarthy plays for a lot of these players.
The Bills are at Miami this week. Look, I think the Bills are going to handle Miami. Last
time these guys played was Thursday night. It was kind of a close game. Weirdly,
it was a close game. I jinxed it because the Bills won. But like generally, like the Bills, the record against Miami at this point. Carlos always talks about it, but they're basically, it's like I think 14-3 the last 17. I don't have it in front of me, but the Dolphins never beat the Bills. Carlos talks about this all the time. He's like, "Call me when the Dolphins beat the Bills." It's a whole thing. But I want to just note, obviously,
he hates the Bills.
I know,
so funny.
He hates the Dolphins too.
He hates the Dolphins too. Yeah, Carlos
but he hates the Bills a little bit more.
Hates Josh Allen, and like it's funny because you don't think anyone hates Josh Allen. Miami fans hate Josh Allen.
Yeah, he hates Josh Allen. He hates the moment of Zen on YouTube
and Guinness.
and
Guinness.
Guinness.
It's
And
pretty
baseball.
Incredible. And baseball.
When you put it all together, he might have good taste. I don't know.
The idea of him sitting in a meadow, sipping a Guinness and watching a baseball game with Josh Allen.
And appreciating Josh Allen. This is my hell. This is the 7th level of hell.
The last 14, the Bills are 13-1 in their last 14 versus the Dolphins. And the only game the Bills lost was that heat stroke game where all the players were like,
oh yeah,
because it was 120 degrees on the Bills sideline. And they all collapsed in agony after the game, which I still think is kind of one of the wilder things that's happened while we've been doing the show, which we should do at some point. We should rank crazy shit that's happened. And like that one's very high up there for me. I'll never forget the clock striking 0 and every player just falling down.
Yeah, I think I only like the weather part of football when it's cold. The hot part,
the heat's like fucked up.
Do you think that there's any, not that it probably matters in this game because of the Bills' dominance over the Dolphins, but do you think the Dolphins get a little bump because of the Chris Greer firing? Because you know how like you get a bump when your coach gets fired a lot of times, like the players, I don't know why for whatever reason, but they tend to play better at least that first week after the firing. You think there's anything happening there?
Same. I
The
feel
GM,
like
it's not the same.
different.
You're not dealing with them every day.
because that's like the principal getting fired at your high school. It's like no one's really interacting with him.
Well,
It's not-
He's
it's
the
not
guy
like
that
your
you're
teacher.
having to negotiate with.
It's like the assistant principal getting fired.
I don't know.
Because like the owner, I don't know.
Yeah, but you know, it's not like I don't know.
I don't actually have a take
He
on
paid
this
a lot
one.
of these guys. They probably don't hate him. But I will say that I just want to mention for the Bills. The Bills, I really do think at this point have become the Lions last year. And what I mean by that is the Lions last year had all these injuries, but they were really only on defense. The Bills are kind of in that spot because the Bills are obviously the Ravens have been banged up, and I've said, but then Lamar just missed like a bunch of time. The Bills have like 2 injuries on offense. It's like James Cook has an ankle injury, but like I think he's going to play this week. I don't think he's going to miss any time. And then Josh Palmer's hurt. That's kind of it. I know Josh Palmer, elite receiver, Craig, but that's kind of it. Then you look at the Bills defense. You know, A.J. Epinesa, who made one of the plays of the year a couple weeks ago, like he has concussion. And then defensive end Michael Hoyt tore his Achilles, which is a week after Ed Oliver, the defensive tackle, tore his biceps. And then another defensive tackle, Daquan Jones, has this lingering calf issue. And TJ Sanders is already an injured reserve. And then cornerback Tyron Johnson has a groin issue. And cornerback Christian Benford also has a groin issue. And I know I've mentioned the Bills' injuries a lot, but most of these are like new or a week old. Like the Bills just, they got some guys back. But they're still like they just have. I didn't even mention DeMar Hamlin's at injured reserve. Like they have so many issues on defense, and when you're adding in like more like Epinesa getting concussion and Michael Hoyt, it's just increasingly like Super Bowl teams just generally just don't look like they're down 10 guys on defense. I still think the Bills handle Miami, but the Bills I think are still the favorites to win the Super Bowl or win the AFC at least, and I'm like I don't see it.
You know what's funny about that? I kind of don't see it with anyone.
No.
It's week 10.
It's
to
wide
be honest,
open.
If somebody was like, if you have to put your house on it, who's winning the Super Bowl? I don't know. Like,
We're getting Chiefs Eagles again, boys.
Ugh.
I know.
It's happening.
Right.
They're fucking healthy.
I still think the Chiefs are the best team, even though they're 5-4. But I do.
The Chiefs are that. Chiefs and Eagles to me are like the healthiest good teams.
Yeah.
And which is weird because the Eagles' O-line's a little banged up, but like you look around and you're like, all right, are we gonna pick the Ravens to win the Super Bowl? They started 1-5. I'm looking at the Bills and I'm like, these are all their good players, minus like the Greg Rousseau. Like everyone else is hurt.
I think, and then you have like the Colts and the Patriots are these 2 teams with great records that I don't think everyone is not going to believe them until they see it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Heifetz, the Bills are interesting though because, to your point, maybe I'm forgetting somebody, but they don't have any other superstars other than Josh Allen. It's Josh Allen and then a bunch of role players. No. James Cook is one of the least
heralded.
Heralded. He's just underrated. He's really good. I think he's a really good player.
He suffers from little brother syndrome.
Yeah, 100%. Dalton Kincaid, he's coming on. He's been playing pretty well this year, but nobody thinks he's like a star.
If I was like name first round tight ends draft last 7 years, he'd be like the 8th guy take you could remember. It's a good point. Christian Benford is ratio of good cornerback to name value very low.
100%.
How many if you ask the average NFL fan, name good pass rushers. Where does Greg Rousseau, in terms of just the average fan's memory, come in? Greg Rousseau might not be one of the first 30 pass rushers you
They have a lot of good players, not a lot of superstars.
And yes, like Matt Milano is like a perfect example of a total game-changing player that most people outside of like people who follow the Bills can remember. And then you watch the Bills game, you're like, oh yeah, he's good. But I totally agree. But yeah, you need these guys. I will just, the point I was trying to make though they're the Lions. If all these injuries keep up, like the Lions last year, I think the Bills offense, James Cook, obviously Josh, but like Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir are going to continue to be really valuable in fantasy because I think the Bills are going to have to throw a ton. We always talk about Josh Allen running more as the season gets more important, but I think the Bills are just going to be in shootouts. Not necessarily this week. I don't believe in Miami, but I think Shakir, Kincaid, and Cook are going to just totally be worthy, and Kincaid will keep up the touchdown luck. The last good game of this window, I think, is Jags are at the Texans. This is such
ugly game, but good game.
What a huge pivot for Houston. If the Houston loses, I think their season's kind of over. Because if Houston wins, they're only one game behind Jacksonville. Obviously, the Colts are winning the AFC South. But if Houston loses, they're basically 4 games behind Jacksonville because Houston would be down 3 minus both the tiebreak of losing head-to-head. I'm like, at that point, the Houston season's over. And then you have CJ Stroud out with concussion. So you have Davis Mills, the quarterback, fighting for really whether the season for Houston's over. And Kaimi Fairbairn, who's really quietly one of the better kickers in the league, has a quad injury. I don't think he's going to play on Sunday. So I look at this line. The Jags are favored to win by 1.5. Texans are down their kicker and their quarterback. I'm like, I kind of think the Jags are going to should deal with this handily.
This is an embarrassing line for Jacksonville. Embarrassing. Davis Mills fucking sucks. And you're favored by 1.5 points.
Well, Houston's defense is really
whatever.
It speaks to how little faith there is that Jacksonville can move the ball in Houston's defense.
Like Houston cannot run the football.
Whatever.
They cannot run the ball, and they have Davis Mills and no kicker. What else is there? Like,
Dude,
not 1.5 points.
Fairbairn's one of the Fairbairn routinely for years, even before the juice balls, has been just nailing 56-yard field goals.
The Jags are 5-3, and they're 1.5 point favorites over a team with Davis Mills and Nick Chubb as their 2 starting quarterbacks.
But here's the thing. So that's my point for this game.
When you put it that way.
But to that point, Craig, this is an important game for me and Trevor Lawrence. I don't think Trevor Lawrence cares about me. But for my opinion of Trevor Lawrence, I want to fucking see him go in and to steal a line from Pirates of the Caribbean. Don't do anything stupid. Like, if Trevor Lawrence doesn't turn the ball over, the Jags should win this game. Like, if the Jags do not turn the ball over, they should and will beat Davis Mills. If Trevor Lawrence puts a ball in a guy's hands and they bobble it up and you know what? The Jags receivers can't drop any passes. Lawrence can't do any stupid shit. Don't miss a receiver by a bunch. This is an important don't turn the ball over because punt. And I really want to see them not do anything moronic because, James Gladstone, a.k.a. Doogie Howser, the GM of the Jags, came out and just said the not Christian Kirk trade, the Jacoby Myers trade was straight up because he said Jacoby's superpower is not dropping the football.
Yeah.
Which is like, what a low bar.
Yeah, the classic Jags football is just the guys dropping the ball. That was like the big story the last few years, it feels like. Trevor Lawrence would have had probably 5 or 6 extra touchdowns last year. Guys hadn't dropped the ball or get their feet in bounds. Jacoby Myers is just an adult in the room, I think, for them, which they needed. I think the other thing to mention here is the Jags' top 2 receivers are out, and Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas. Not that Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter have been like lighting it up, but they are their top 2 receivers. Yeah. Now we have Parker Washington and Jacoby Myers, who got there a day ago or 2 days ago. So that's maybe part of the reason this line is so little bit like, I don't know.
That is the right point. To be fair, the Jags only healthy receivers.
This team beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, well, they needed fucking help.
True.
But the Jags' only healthy receivers are literally, it's Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers, Austin Trammell, and Tim Jones. Like, those are the only healthy players at receiver in Jacksonville.
I just can't believe.
Davis Mills and no kicker is, that is how you score points, generally speaking. It's not like Houston.
They already beat the Texans with Stroud this year by 7. So it's just very odd to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I think for real.
I still am not going to bet him, but I think it's weird.
And I think you can play Parker Washington in this solely because
you put your money where your mouth is, Craig.
Vegas knows something. Vegas has the windy fingers.
This is like the Chargers-Titans game where I was like, let's take the Chargers. The Titans are going to get rocked, and the Titans are going to start with like a punt block touchdown and then a pick six. And this is going to be like the Texans are going to just defense will just win the game.
Lawrence is going to throw a pick six in like the first quarter, and then
we'd
be in just complete panic for the next 2 hours.
Here's how I would define this game. The one unit I trust in this game is the Texans defense.
Let's go.
Yep, that's a good counter.
And they're at home.
It's a good counter.
So you want to take the Texans?
Well, I don't know. I think this is kind of a stay away.
Yeah. Speaking of stayaways.
Oh, the Giants are at Washington. Sorry, not Washington. Giants are at Chicago this week, man. I don't like this game. I don't like this game one bit.
Heifitz's Giants Spidey.
You don't think Dart could put something together here against Chicago's defense?
He fucking better.
I just we're already there with Dart.
This is a big game for him.
Not he better, but like they better. The Giants, not he. It's a big game for Dart. You know, I'm not saying he better. Dart. He played well. I think he played well against the Niners. I think even in garbage time, he had some nice throws, like quality. Like I think Dart's
he hit Slayton down the field, and Slayton had it, and then it got knocked out.
Underrated's the wrong word for Dart, but because he's gotten. I hope Dart doesn't film commercials over the offseason because he's gotten a little more famous before he's done anything. But I actually think the memery around him booping Cam Scatterbo and just like the general like vibe his passing has impressed me. Even from the preseason, the deep balls from the preseason through this till last week in the night, like it really has impressed me, the quality of the deep passing. Yeah. And I think the quality of how like Drake May and all this stuff like has kind of overshadowed. I think Dart's throwing the ball really well. Still worried about how many hits he's taking. I still kind of think Brian Dable has like a little worried about his impulse control of just like stop getting Dart hit. Some people were like, oh, he's doing better with it. I'm like, they were down. I forget the exact situation. I think they were down 17 or 18 against the Niners, like 2 minutes left or what. The game was over.
He gets crunched.
And it's
like
a read
3
option.
or 4
Maybe it's
game.
Dart keeps the ball and runs to the goal line. And it's like, maybe it's an option, but I'm like, what? I get why you don't want to look, the Jaden Daniels thing, people get hurt. I get like at some point people need reps. Like you can't just pull people out of the game all the time. Dart needs reps to play football.
Right.
But why you would call a play on the goal line where he's going to guaranteed to be hit at the 1 yard line when you're definitely going to lose? Why would you?
He's probably audibling to that himself because he wants it because he's a maniac.
Well, no one to boop his head with anymore. Scadaba's not there. He's got to boop us. He's got to hit his head on something. I don't know. But anyway, but here's the thing. The Bears defense sucks. Flacco just put up 42 on them in regulation. They should move the ball. And yet I'm a little worried Caleb's going to embarrass the Giants. I'm a little worried Caleb's going to embarrass the Giants. Mm-hmm. And Ben Johnson, frankly, is going to embarrass the Giants. I think there's a lot of holes in this team. Shane Bowen, the Bears,
the Bears are running the ball really well. Heifetz, what's the status of the Giants' run defense here?
Status. What? No, that's like Captain Price Call of Duty. What's your status? You guys didn't play Call of Duty. Everyone who played Call of Duty knows. Call of Duty and Rick and Morty are the only giant holes you guys have that I have. That
you guys see that Taylor Sheridan, who's the Yellowstone guy, is writing a Call of Duty movie?
Oh, really? I saw that.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
See, that's a brilliant movie thing because you can make a Modern Warfare one, but then honestly, the World War II Call of Duty is going to be pretty sick. It's just a rip off Saving Private Ryan.
Didn't he write Sicario?
Yeah, and Hell or High Water.
So I'm for it, I think.
Yeah, he wrote Sicario.
Yeah. Taylor Sheridan is quietly actually a very good writer.
I didn't realize that. But the Dune guy directed it, right? Villanueva?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Villeneuve.
So good. Villeneuve?
Yeah. It's all right.
That's definitely how you say it. In France.
Also, the Chalamet, I saw the Chalamet trailer for the ping pong movie that when you were talking about it a few months ago, Craig, I thought was a joke. You were like, yeah, Chalamet's been prepping 7 years for a ping pong movie. And I remember thinking, that's not true.
Yeah, I saw that movie. I saw it, and let me tell you, he didn't need to practice 7 years to play ping pong in that movie.
Wait, did they not play a lot of ping pong?
No, there's like a normal amount of ping pong,
but
can't
tell.
A lot of it's close-up shots of him hitting the ball against nobody that I feel like you could practice for 2 months and do, and then the wide shots are like CGI'd. So I'm like, I don't know why I need to practice for 7 months, I guess, or 7 years. I guess that's what an Oscar campaign is.
How long did Tom Hanks practice ping pong for Forrest Gump, do you think?
Probably like 2 months.
Just watch the ball.
You
just got to watch the ball.
I don't know. Ping pong's a hard sport to film.
Sure. Remember Balls of Fury?
I think that all the time.
Well, it's like the highest quality of ping pong is kind of impossible to fake unless you use CGI. It's like you can use close-ups and stuff, but if you want two people hitting the ball back and forth at a high level, it's really hard. Like it's really hard to teach.
Yeah, the Olympics you watch.
You can't do that.
Yeah, you're like, whoa.
Yeah. So it's tough.
Anyway,
It's a good movie, though. It's a great movie. I really like the movie.
Anyway, Bears favored by 4.5. I think they're going to cover.
Okay.
I don't know. Am I being like dramatic? The Giants can make this competitive, obviously. I just think Ben Johnson.
No, I agree.
The way that he is able to, there are just enough holes in this Giants defense that I'm nervous. I mean, the Bears defense isn't nothing to write home about either, but I worry about. You asked about the run defense. There's a civil war right now in the Giants because Carl Banks is a Giants legend. Called out Dexter Lawrence and basically said you're not the same player. Kind of challenged him. There's a whole we could go through every sport.
Background on that in terms of
the background is, and Carl Banks. I mean, he's legit. I mean, the Giants won the Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls before we were born. Correct? Lawrence Taylor, Pepper Johnson, Harry Carson, and Carl Banks. Like it was a legit. Like the interesting part to me is Carl Banks is the radio play-by-play guy for the New York Giants. Like he's not like away from the team.
Okay,
it's not like just some old man yells at cloud, former player mad about back in my day. No, he's announced like. He's not part of the team, but he is amid the infrastructure of the game days. So
right, he's in the facility.
I care more about Carl Banks' criticism than like any former, more than like Eli Manning's. Like he's fucking calling the games. So he like it means more to me. And he's also right. And the point they made was Dexter Lawrence isn't the same player since his elbow issue. Dexter Lawrence was like, this is delusional and became a whole thing. The short version is Dexter Lawrence is like 1 sack this season. And Dexter Lawrence's pass pressures are down by half. His sack rate, everything is just down.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what happened? Because it's an elbow injury that ended the season, but he did the tug of war at the Pro. Shout out to Bobby Skinner, who pointed out that Dexter Lawrence like won the tug of war at the Pro Bowl after his season-ending elbow injury. God. It's kind of like, what the fuck was that about, Dexter? What the fuck?
That's funny.
And then he had an elbow issue in August. I'm like, did you have to do a tug of war? I don't know. Anyway.
How do we feel about Colston Loveland, the Bears tight end in this game? Cole Kmet is fully practicing. It looks like he's going to play. Colston Loveland had this huge game. Nobody probably started him, and he was awesome. Everybody probably added him. And now Kmet is probably going to play. And it's like, if you have, I imagine you don't have Tyler Warren or one of these great tight ends like Brock Bowers if you're adding Colston Loveland. I imagine you have like Harold Fannin or David Njoku or Kyle Pitts or Hunter Henry. How do you guys feel about Loveland this week? Was that like a flash in the pan? He's going to be a good player in his career, but right now maybe not? Or is it like, no, who cares if Kmet's playing? Loveland might be the guy because the Bears receivers are beat up still.
I land somewhere in the middle there. I think he's high risk, but potentially high reward. Like the way that they were utilizing him. So first off, when Kmet started the game last week, Loveland was running in front of him. I think he had 60 something routes per drop back or whatever. So he was out there for the majority of the time. Kmet had kind of taken a back seat. So there's that. And then also the types of routes that they were like designing for Colston Loveland in this game would indicate that like he's going to be a focal point of their offense. Like they were running like ISO routes, choice routes over the middle of the field, the types of routes that you'd expect a top 10 pick to run. So that's good, but I still think he's high variance. And so I'd be a little nervous starting him. If you have other options with a higher floor, I'd probably go that route, but I do think he could have another big game.
So I know a great little website called fantasyfootball.theringer.com where our rankings are. And like, look, if you the top tier, if you have Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, Tyler Warren, you're playing them at tight end. There's another tier after that. Tyler, Sam Laporta, George Kittle, Rondé Gadsden for the Chargers. You're playing them if you have them. And then even then, Dalton Kincaid, Dallas Goedert, Kyle Pitts. I think you're playing them. And then we have Colston Loveland 10th. If you want to put him 13th, whatever. But there's this tier of Colston Loveland, Mark Andrews, who just isn't getting a ton of underlying metrics, but clearly Lamar's going to look to him in the red zone multiple times a game. But then it's like Mark Andrews, Hunter Henry, same thing, where it's just Drake May's going to look for him in the end zone. And then there's Harold Fannin and Colston Loveland. And I think in that zone, they're clearly better than options like a Theo Johnson or Zach Ertz, especially now that Jaden Daniels is out. Theo Johnson is just a touchdown guy for the Giants, but like a little nervous about that. K-Dot and the Bucks, like that's the dregs. I think Harold, like Colston Loveland and Fannin are better than the guys on waivers by a good bit that I would play this week. But, you can play Goddard, Kincaid, Kyle Pitts over them. But
yeah,
I agree.
We're seeing.
That's a tough one. He could definitely burn you this week. I'm worried.
Speaking of Fannin, the Cleveland Browns are at the New York Jets, and this is post New York Jets.
Can we just skip this one? My God.
This is like mind. The only notes I took on this were for fantasy. So Quinshon Judkins looking like he will play. Therefore, Dylan Sampson, if you picked him up on waivers, probably don't do it this week. If you look at the games that Quinshon Judkins has played outside of last week when he got hurt, he's averaged 18 rushes a game. He scored 5 touchdowns in 6 games. He's averaging almost 20 touches per game and 14.5 half PPR points per game. So he's been really good. 14.5 points per game is what Saquon is averaging this year. So, and this is on a team that can't really throw. So they're just basically, teams are loading up to stop the run because they can't really throw. And so he's still doing all that. The other thing to note here for the Browns offense is Dylan Gabriel does not throw to wide receivers. So do not start Jerry Jeudy. I don't care. Even if Jerry Jeudy goes off, it was the right process to not start Jerry Jeudy. He's been basically worthless since Dylan Gabriel took over. He's a wide receiver 104 since Dylan Gabriel took over. Since week 5, when Gabriel was named the starter, he has had only 41% of his passes go to receivers, which is second to last. Only Aaron Rodgers is lower, and 35% of his throws go to tight ends, and another 21% go to running backs. So this is a tight end running back passing offense.
So what you're saying is, if you were in a 20-team fantasy league, and every of the 20 teams had to play 5 receivers every single week.
Mm-hmm.
Since Dylan Gabriel took over, you still wouldn't want to
put
playing
Jerry Jeudy. I would start Isaiah Bond instead.
That's incredible. Also, wait for the Jets. The only thing for the Jets is, do you think Justin Fields is going to play this week? Terod Taylor, Aaron Glenn keeps doing his.
I lean Fields. I
feel like it's going to be Terod.
Who's Eileen Fields? Is she good?
Heyo.
I feel like it might be Terod Taylor.
You think so?
Kind of.
Now, is that them trying to lose, or do they think he gives them a better chance to win? I really what's the strategy there?
They just won with Fields. You got to play him.
That's what I'm saying.
The simpler thing would be to play Fields because he just let a comeback win, and then why bench him? Because if he sucks, then you bench him.
Also, after that, he had emotional speech after the game, how much it meant to him, and they're just going to bench him.
That would be
you're right. It's probably gonna be
so
Fields.
Brutal. It'd be so Jets. You want to know one little weird statistical anomaly with Justin Fields?
Okay.
He has 10 straight starts without throwing an interception, which, according to Football Perspective, he's one of 5 quarterbacks ever to do that. That's 5.
How inaccurate he is. He's not near any player.
He can't even throw it to the defense. The record is 11, and that's Justin Herbert and Tom Brady are the only other guys.
Get the fuck. That'll be a great all-time stat.
So good.
The only guys
Lucille Bluth. I don't understand the stat line. I won't respond to it.
Brady.
So watch him throw
Herbert,
4 picks today, or this week. But
that's how Craig. We always joke that our kids are going to look up these stats and be like, "So Derek Carr and Patrick Mahomes, they have super similar stats, right?"
Right.
Be like, "Shut the fuck up. Shut your mouth."
Garrett Wilson might be back, so that'll help.
Dad, my clanker girlfriend told me that Derek Carr has the same stats as Patrick Mahomes.
Stay away from her. Saints are at Carolina this week. This game's awful. I will say it's funny the Panthers have the same record as the Chiefs. I think this is really the John Daly
that's
Tiger
wild.
Woods meme. Tiger Woods in the tee box and John Daly's just ripping a cig with his weird ass pants and his giant beard. That's the Panthers having a 5-4 record with the Chiefs.
I think Canales is a good coach.
He's done a lot with not that much. So is Evero Ehero, the defensive coordinator, who might be a head coach either next year or the year after, because he has turned some chicken shit to some chicken salad. With, the Panthers. And
that's breakfast for Heifetz.
Goddamn right.
On toast.
The only one. Takes one to know one. Goddamn right. But Panthers linebackers had their best game by far of the year versus the Packers, and I really respect what the Panthers have done. We'll get into. I want to talk a little bit because when they beat the Packers last week, Packers are playing the Eagles. We'll get into that, but I was impressed. But also just Tyler Shuck, man,
isn't good.
You ever seen him on his own? Just not for me.
He was the 40th overall pick.
I just don't think you can play anyone in the Saints. I think obviously you can play Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave, but you don't have to. If you have better options,
I honestly am I'm
Kamara's
Kamara.
been bad.
Kamara had under a point. You know how hard it is to have under a point when you're just a starting running back?
And he's banged up. I don't know. I think I don't think I would play him.
I hesitate to say this because it's very, very mean, but he feels like he's really just mailing it in. He's ready to retire.
I was shocked when he said,
he's just let's get through the season and then I'm going to retire.
I know. He said he wants to retire a Saint. David Njoku was I'm not leaving Cleveland.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. At least Myles Garrett, when he didn't leave Cleveland, they gave him $40 million.
David Njoku, you wouldn't just go to the Bills right now? Okay.
I know. I was Myles Garrett, you can get some nice lakeside property with the $40 million in Cleveland. And I was at least they get it. But dude,
guys,
I don't know.
The other thing here is the Panthers are a run team. They are very good at running the ball. Mm-hmm. Rico Dowdle has been an absolute revelation this year. He looks awesome. So that's been the identity of their
He's
team.
a must
Last week,
start.
They won last week when Bryce Young threw for 100 yards and a pick.
And guess
They
what?
beat
Against the Packers. Guess what? Jalen Hurts is going to throw for 100 yards and a pick
insane.
against the Packers this week, and they're going to beat the Packers too. Rico Dowdle has a quad injury. I think he'll play. Rico Dowdle literally has to play for you every week. It's crazy how well he's doing. But yeah, and we'll get to the Ringer 107, but I have a thought on the Saints game. Late games. This to me is really interesting. So this is Rams are at San Francisco, and this is massive implications for the division.
Yeah, the Rams are 6-2. The Niners are 6-3. The last time these two teams played was that was that Week 5 Thursday night football game. It was incredible. The Niners won in overtime by 3 on the road in LA. Mac Jones was awesome in that game. That was the game that prompted my dad to text me like, Mac Jones is my guy now. Like Niners fans fell in love with Mac Jones, I think, because he was like getting the shit kicked out of him.
Was that the game he was dry heaving on the sideline?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he was in so much pain.
Yeah. And then like after that game, the Rams have basically caught fire, but they haven't really played anybody. So it's kind of tough. Like the Rams essentially have the best, I think the Rams have the best defense right now in the NFL according to EPA, but they beat the Ravens without Lamar. They beat the Jags and then they beat the Saints. So,
Can I tell you something? This is a really dangerous thing to say about an NFC West game. All divisional games are really close. The NFC West, I do think, is closer than most other than the AFC North.
Yeah.
I never say this about divisional games. I kind of think the Rams are going to kick the shit out of them. Like, I kind of do. I just think the Rams are playing so much better. The Niners are so hurt. The Niners are so
super hurt,
injured. And the Rams are just firing on all cylinders. And, like, honestly, Shanahan kind of, like, Jedi mind tricked McVay in that game. That was the one where they went for it on 4th and 1. And, like, they just I feel like McVay just had all the wrong play calls and all the short yardage and kind of really let the Niners back into the game. I think the Rams might like run up the score in this game. Now, maybe that's a very weird thing to say about a divisional game between coaches that are so matched. But if you just kind of pick up the hood, DK, you know the NFC West better than me. When you pick up the hood, I'm like, who the fuck on the Niners is getting pressure or guarding Devontae Adams or even Puka Nacua with this rib injury? How are they?
That is the thing. Is like the Niners are just absolutely decimated on defense. They don't have anybody left. They built their stadium on Native American burial grounds, and the effect is that everyone is now hurt. Do we think Brock Purdy is going to play this week? He's been limited. I'm guessing they're just going to stick with Mac. Pearsall is still hurt. There doesn't seem to be any light at the end of the tunnel with this guy in terms of like when he's going to get back on the field.
I think Pearsall, it's like what happened with Patrick Ricard and the Ravens, where John Harbaugh just admitted, we should have put him on injured reserve and we didn't because we thought he'd be back sooner. Pearsall, they clearly should have, and they just didn't.
He hasn't played since week 4. It's funny, it's flipped. The Niners, when they played the Rams the first time, their defense was healthier. I believe Warner and Bosa were in that game, and the offense was ravaged. That was that huge Kendrick Bourne game. They were missing everybody. There was no Kittle. There was no Pearsall. There was no Juwan Jennings. And now Kittle's back. Jennings is back. I guess Bourne's still there. So it's kind of like the offense is a bit healthier, but the defense is not. I do agree with you, Heifetz, that like, I don't know. I don't think McVay's losing twice to Mac Jones.
It's easy to look at Shanahan McVay and be like, it'll be close. And I'm like, okay, cool. So Nick Bosa tore his ACL. Michael Williams, the first rounder, also on the defensive end, also tore his ACL. And then also Yetur Gross-Matos, also your other defensive end, is also tore his ACL or on injured reserve. And then you look, and the other defensive ends
Fred
are on.
Warner.
They had Fred Warner's an injured reserve. And then just literally the other defensive ends here are all got to the team like a week ago. Like Keon White came from the Patriots. They need defensive line help, and they got rid of him. And then Cleveland Farrell was just around. So I don't know. I don't think the Niners have the horses, and I think this game's like fake close on paper.
This game is in San Francisco.
Can
I admit something?
That the home thing doesn't matter to you?
I don't fucking care. And maybe I'm just an idiot.
It matters to me.
It matters sometimes. And I admit, huge divisional games, maybe I'm wrong. Like maybe this is the exact kind of game Niners fans get up for and it gets loud. And it does matter when it's loud and when there's energy. Certain stadiums always matter to me. The Chiefs at home matters. The Seahawks at home, weirdly, used to matter more, but like I still think it matters.
It's like backwards now. The Seahawks at home are awful.
Miami, when it's hot in September, matters a lot. Certain like the MetLife, the Jets, the Giants Stadium for kickers matters a lot. Certain Detroit being home versus Detroit going to Chicago on the road in the winter matters a lot. But if it's just on the road and I'm like, oh, well, I think they'd rather be on the road. I think they'd rather go to LA and have their 7 top defenders back.
I mean, yes.
I'm not to take.
Those aren't
Can I
the
quiz?
two
Can I
options,
quiz
but
you guys real quick?
Okay.
How many touches do you think Christian McCaffrey is on pace to have this season if he plays the whole season?
390.
I was gonna say 400.
More.
425.
More.
450.
500 times.
432.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's averaging 25 touches a game.
This
is the guy who we were really, really worried about at the beginning of the season.
I know. I do think
because
that
of
is
his freaking calves.
I think this is quietly one of the crazier stories that is unraveling. Like the fact that he went from bilateral Achilles tendonitis to having that issue right before week 1 where everyone panicked because there was that report that he was having calf tightness and everybody freaked out. And now
everybody didn't freak out. Not everybody.
Who?
I haven't been every
You
week.
freaked out. What are you talking
freaked out. There was you said it was like the worst day of your life on the show.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
You super
that
panicked.
was the worst
You were
day.
like,
Of course you freaked out.
You were like,
I did.
I'm fucking devastated. The season's
Well, I already
over.
had him in every league. You're right. I freaked out.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And now he's leading the NFL in touches. It's fucking crazy.
He's the. Does anything sum up the
25+
Niners
touches
season?
a game?
It's kind of like the same with the Bills, where like the healthiest defender they have is Tre'Davious White. It's like the not healthiest guy on the Niners is Christian McCaffrey.
I'll say this. I've been holding on to Brian Thomas for 10 weeks in multiple leagues. I mean, sorry, Brian Robinson for 10 weeks.
Yeah,
Right.
him, Tank Bigsby, all these guys like Tank Bigsby, Kyron Williams. I mean, Ray Davis on the Bills. Now that James Cook has an ankle injury.
Yeah.
James Cook probably going to play this week, but you've got like 8 weeks now where it's like if James Cook has his ankle injury at any point, the Bills are like, we're going to make the playoffs. Like we don't want James Cook back. Like Ray Davis, add him to the list of like if you really high upside stashes that you'll need James Cook to miss like 1 week, 16 game, and you're like, wow, Ray Davis could get you some places. And then Puka's going to play. I mean, you don't need help if Puka Nacua plays. You play him. It's not very hard.
Cardinals Seahawks.
Huge week for the NFC West. Massive.
Yeah, DK. Tell me if you feel this way, but I just feel like this game's gonna be close.
Oh, I was going to say the same thing. I actually think the Cardinals are better than people are giving them credit for, or maybe even I've been giving them credit for. They're 3-5, and they have a +9 scoring differential. They have wins over the Saints, Panthers, Cowboys. No quality wins really. I guess you could call the Panthers a quality win. But they have close losses to the 49ers by 1, Seahawks by 3, Titans by 1, Colts by 4, Packers by 4. So basically 5 total losses by 13 points.
Cowboys is not a quality win.
Medium.
Okay.
So I guess, like depending on what you think of the Panthers and Cowboys, like they have a couple good quality wins.
They lost to the Titans in the single dumbest game, I think, of the 2020s.
Oh, that was the Demario Mercado dropped the ball and they were about to go up by like
also
30.
Like the ridiculous
Genuinely
fumble.
1 in a billion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like they are 4-4 to me.
They've had the most unlucky season of maybe any team in terms of just like winning games. Kyler, depending on how you look at this, is either soft benched or they're protecting him because of this injury. I'll go back to, there was reports last week that he's not going to start, but he might have a role in the game. They're putting him on IR to go get his foot checked out. That's a little bit weird.
That is sketchy. It's weird. I'm not gonna lie. It's as much as we talked about the shadow benching of JJ McCarthy.
This is actually
I think
shadow benching.
Kyler's team being like, we're not benched. I got hurt. It's worse than you thought.
Yeah.
And I would never really accuse a player of doing that, except in a situation where they were talking about him having a role and then he got put on IR. That's weird.
I heard that he dropped his PS5 on his foot.
There is a new Call of Duty coming out.
It's Battlefield. That's the new Call of Duty.
He's helping Taylor Sheridan write the new movie.
Yeah. So, but honestly, like it's Occam's razor. It's Jacoby Brissett has been playing well, and the offense has been playing really well with him under center. They've been doing play action a whole bunch. And since Brissett has taken over, which is 3 games in 4 weeks, he is passing for 286 yards per game, which is third most behind only Flacco and Herbie in that stretch. He has 6 touchdowns and 1 pick, 103 passer rating, 46% success rate, which is top 12. Basically all his stats, he's top 12 in the NFL since he started, which is obviously only 3 games. It's a small sample, but you know, the offense just functions so much more efficiently with Jacoby Brissett. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that he's willing to get under center and like run play action. So yes, I agree with you, Craig. I think this game could be close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout like we saw last week with the Seahawks and the Commanders. The notes I have on the Seahawks, they still can't run the ball very much, but they do continue to run the ball a lot. So basically their offense is, we're going to run a lot and then use play action. And teams, for some reason, haven't started defending them like they're a bad running team. and they've been able to hit those explosive plays. So it'll be interesting to see how teams start to defend the Seahawks in the second half, if they start to like let them run a little bit more, or try and do a better job of protecting on those deep shots, because that has been the Seahawks offense. They're a heavy personnel 2 and 3 tight ends team that likes to chuck the ball down the field. So in Darnold, I mean, if you look at his play action numbers, he's averaging 14 yards per attempt on almost 60 play action passes. And then he has Rashid Shaheed too. So that's exciting. But I
love that they got him.
Oh yeah. I think it's a perfect fit for them in terms of like what he brings. He knows the offense. He knows Kubiak. Sounds like he's a great guy. The vibes are high with the Seahawks offense, but they need to figure out how to run the ball a little bit better, I think, or else I'm going to be a little bit worried as teams start to adjust to the Seahawks offense in the second half of the year.
Are you playing Ken Walker and Charbonnet?
We have Ken Walker ranked 23rd this week among running backs, but I feel like you never feel good about Ken Walker anymore.
Well, that's because the way that the Seahawks use the running backs is basically Walker gets a lot of stuff between the 20s, and then Charbonnet comes in when they get close to the end zone and he scores the touchdowns. So
they're like
it's tough.
Horrible discount version of Gibbs and Montgomery. You basically need a touchdown out of Charbonnet for him to be worth it in fantasy, because he's like not going to get more than 40 yards in a game.
Right.
And then Walker, you're hoping for like explosive plays, but there's actually less of those than you think.
Yeah, you're hoping that he scores like a 15-yard touchdown run, but that just hasn't happened very much this year.
Just want to point out before we move on that Jackson Smith-Njigba, Nate Tyson Mays were talking about this week on Nate's show on Yahoo, that Jackson Smith-Njigba, we don't talk about this enough. His yards per route run is 4.5. He gets 4.5 yards per route run.
It's like historic.
Every time, not when he's throwing the ball. When Jackson Smith-Njigba runs a route of any kind, on average, the Seahawks get 4.5 yards.
That's awesome.
Which is preposterous.
Yeah.
And has never happened before in the history of the NFL.
Like a good number is 2.2.
Yeah. Two is like crossing 2 is a good threshold. Crossing 3 is like crazy, like super elite. Tyreek Hill flirted with like 3.5. Just for context, Jackson Smith-Njigba is on pace in his 16-game pace to be the second most yards ever. If you do the 17-game season, Jackson Smith-Njigba is on pace for 2,000 receiving yards. The most ever is Calvin Johnson with 1,960. But the point I want to make is Jackson Smith-Njigba, the year Calvin Johnson set the record for the most receiving yards in a season, he ran like 700 routes and change. Like he went out for a pass 700 plus times. Jackson Smith-Njigba is on pace to match that. And he's only ran so far. He has only ran 212 routes. So he's on pace for like 425, 400. So 300 fewer routes than what Calvin Johnson did. But he'll have the same amount of yards. Like
the efficiency is off the charts.
Hence the yards per route run is so goddamn high.
I know, but just the idea that he could set he could break Calvin Johnson's record for 300 fewer pass routes is kind of crazy. So I just want to shout that out of like, it's pretty historic what Jackson Smith-Njigba was doing.
Yeah.
Do you think the Seahawks knew how good he was, and that's why they got rid of DK Metcalf, or do you think they got kind of lucky?
No, both. They knew he was good. No one, if you told me someone's like, he's going to have 2,000 yards this year, bullshit.
But like, do you think they were like, we have a top 5 receiver in the NFL, or like, we like this guy, he could be something?
I think they thought top 10.
I think more the latter. I don't think they thought he could be this good. I think that's why they gave Cooper Kupp like $15 million to go out there and block, But, I don't know if anyone knew he would be this good. He was a mid first round pick. People thought he was going to be like a number 2 receiver in the NFL. The first year that he was in the NFL. And again, this goes back to the famous line about Shane Waldron, where he was asked about what the Bears should expect from Shane Waldron. He was like, "Are we live?" He's a good person. When he was a rookie, Jackson Smith-Njigba, basically they would only bring him in to throw him a screen pass. That's the only thing they allowed him to do as a fucking rookie. It was ridiculous.
It's not aged well. Also,
it's so ridiculous.
It's like he wasn't some downfield guy at Ohio State. It's crazy. The next game here, Lions are at Washington. This game seemed so much cooler at the beginning of the year. This was the game.
This game, I can't help but think the Lions are going to win by 100 in this game. Like the Lions are coming off a division loss to JJ McCarthy. They're playing Marcus Mariota without Terry McLaurin. And I'm like, dude, the Commanders just lost.
Commanders can't run.
They lost by the Commanders. They've lost by 21 to the Chiefs, by 22 to Dallas, and by 24 to Seattle.
Don't forget who knocked Detroit out of the playoffs last year.
Right. Oh, great call, Washington. That was a bad loss for Detroit. Like I mean, I don't know. I don't think you can start anybody on Washington. Maybe you could talk me into Debo. But
I think Debo, but even Bill Merritt, I think I think
no, I don't think you're starting Bill Merritt.
No, you can't. They're gonna give more touches to Jerry McNichols and
I'm surprised the spread's 8.5. I thought it was gonna be like 10.5.
I think there's respect, I guess, to Cliff Kingsbury, like getting points up with Mariota, but I'm like, dude, Washington's season's cooked.
This game matters a lot. I mean, like Detroit can't fuck around. I mean, Detroit is second in the division right now. The Packers are 5-2. Detroit's 5-3, and the Bears are 5-2.
I want this. We'll do Ringer 107 at the end. I want this game Ringer 107 because again, the Lions run up the score. They're mad. They're mad. They're going to run up the score. They're going to make a point. And Washington's defense is also just, dude, Lattimore. Like, I think Mike Samer's still like a lot as a nickel cornerback, but even he got waxed by Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think this is brutal. It's sad. Sunday Night Football. Steelers are at the Chargers, Craig. How do you feel about this game?
This is a really fun game. This is my favorite team and my secondary favorite team.
Do you feel conflict?
Pick
a little bit.
Pick your favorite child.
It's my son and my stepson are facing each other. But I'm a little surprised the Chargers are favored in this game. I don't know if that's surprising to you guys that I think that, but the Chargers are favored by 2.5 points. But
this is a good example of a home field advantage that's bullshit. If you if you think this Chargers want to run a silent
the Steelers
count,
travel well too.
Oh,
right?
super well. There will be more Steelers fans there than Chargers fans. Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, silent count.
The Chargers have no left tackle or right tackle. The Steelers D-line is pretty healthy and playing pretty well. And I think Herbert has been pressured 30 more times than any quarterback in the NFL this year.
Mm.
And I don't know. I'm usually really pessimistic about the Steelers games because I kind of always think that they're fraudulent and their turnover margin is insane. And it just feels like every week they win improbably. But I do think that like they have the tools to like make Justin Herbert's life difficult. With that said, anybody can throw on the Steelers. Herbert has been fantastic and is not getting enough praise this year. He's second in passing touchdowns. He's second in passing yards. He leads all quarterbacks in the NFL in rushing yards, by the way. Justin Herbert does. All quarterbacks.
Mm.
And so the game might be a little bit of a shootout, maybe, but I think it's going to be a close game. And I think I lean the Steelers. But I think you can start in fantasy, you can start every single person who catches passes on the Chargers.
I agree with that. I think this, DK, I'm curious what you think. I think last week was a classic Steelers game where there's no reason that you can come up with for the Steelers to beat the Colts, and then the Steelers come out with a creative game plan and
6
they really
takeaways.
embarrass the Colts. And then this week you're like, how are the Steelers underdogs? And then they're going to lose.
For sure.
Like, this is a classic Mike Tomlin rope-a-dope. Having said that, I agree with Craig. The home crowd is going to be very pro-Steelers, going to be very loud. And the chart, like, there's a lot of backup tackles to have against TJ Watt.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this game. This one I have no good feel on.
This is one of those games where if you play it 10 times, every possibility would happen. Like it would be 40 to 10 Chargers, and then it would be like 24-3 Steelers, and then it would be like a field goal game going in either direction. But yeah, I don't know why I kind of lean Pittsburgh in this game, which is rare for me.
I think you're right that the fantasy, like Herbert, Lad McConkey, Oronde Gadsden, have been phenomenal. Anthony DeBundo keeps making fun of me because he loved to, like, I didn't like some Oronde Gadsden 24 yards over under week 4 or whatever. Right. And he was like, I told you. And I'm like, all right, well,
this is why we watch the sport.
Can I just
tell our friends?
This is This is a great jersey matchup. I don't know why.
Which one are the Chargers wearing?
Oh, I'm assuming they're going to go with their classics, but I love those. I love the blue that they chose, and then with the Steelers, I don't know. It's just like really like nice primary solid colors that it's a great jersey matchup.
Well, totally these are the only yellow pant teams, right?
Oh,
yellow pant battle.
Not the
Rams.
I guess the Pack. Actually, a lot of teams wear yellow. I guess the Packers wear yellow.
Yeah.
Actually, a ton of teams wear yellow pants.
Can I say one more thing? About the Steelers. I'm sick of Ben Roethlisberger.
Did he say more shit this week?
He's always talking, dude.
He needs to shut up.
I think he's fucking jealous of Rodgers or something. Like I don't think he likes that Rodgers is succeeding as an old guy on the Steelers. And every week he's like, oh, Rodgers is DK Metcalf. I had a first time center with me. Like I didn't get. He's just like always criticizing the team every week, and he's just trying to make headlines, and it's annoying.
I love this.
No one cares. This is why I'm talking with Carl Banks, where there's always these old grizzled guys who are
get him out of my shit. I don't want to hear what Ben Roethlisberger has to say.
Dude, there are like, how many quarterbacks, DK? You've been covering the league longer than me. How many quarterbacks is it actually like you really can? It's not hard to find many former teammates who will throw him under the bus.
Right.
Roethlisberger is like top of the list.
And like, look, I'll say
It's like Russ, Roethlisberger.
in terms of on the field, I think Ben's my favorite quarterback ever. Watching him play, I think was so fun. He was awesome on the field. And yet like his who he's been in his like podcast. I don't even remember the name of his podcast, but every week he's just saying some shit, he's just critique of the team that like makes the headlines, and it's so annoying.
The irony for getting Big Ben, he's a small person.
Yeah. I know. I loved him on the field. I don't need him off the field.
No. I agree. God, it's just this is one of those where I can see how the Chargers will win this game with a series of like I can just see how screens, and they're going to break one. They're going to get one good pass protection where Herbert's going to be able to shred him, and it's going to be a great Herbert game.
Keenan Allen's going to have like 12 catches in this game.
Totally. Because like I see how all the receivers can get open quickly. Gadsden, Keenan, and Ladd, obviously, like Quentin John. I can see all these guys getting a ton, like mesh just run. I also just feel like we might just watch TJ Watt on whoever's going to actually play instead of Joe Alt. Be like, what the fuck were we thinking?
Yeah, I do think Herbert's going to be under tremendous pressure, and I'm going to feel bad for him.
I don't want to bet this game. I do want to bet Monday Night Football. The Philadelphia Eagles are at Green Bay Packers. The Eagles are 6-2. Packers are 5-2-1. And
I hope you want to bet the Eagles, because I do.
I think this is the rare line where I looked at it and I was like, actually, my actual thought was, did I read this wrong? And the line, DK, what do you think the line in this game is? The Eagles are at Green Bay.
Guess the lines, DK.
Green Bay -1.5.
This is good. Like, we do guess the lines, but it's on Thursday instead of like Sunday night.
You know how I determine like how my feel when I listen to Bill and Sal, and then I pause it before they make their guess. I make my own guess, and then I wait for the answer. And if it's way off, I'm like, oh, okay, that lets me know like how I'm feeling about a team. And in this game, I was off on.
The Packers are favored by 2.5 points. There are X's and O's reasons I want to get into. Obviously, the Packers lost to the Carolina Panthers last week.
And also the Browns.
And the Browns. The Packers are the team who proposed to ban the tush push. And if you think the Eagles are not going to run up
6 straight tush pushes,
if you think the Eagles are not
from
going to
their
run
own
up
20
the fucking score,
that'd be
this
rad.
is like Ringer 107. My request to you: I want the Lions to run up the score in Washington, and I actually think the Eagles are angrier about Green Bay about this. If you think the Eagles are not going to fucking shove the ball up Green Bay's ass this week, I love
the amount of pettiness among coaches and players.
It matters. Yeah. And but there's also reasons. Like I look at Green Bay, and the thing Carolina did last week to trip up Jordan Love, the Panthers defensive coordinator, it's the Vic Fangio tree guy. Like Vic Fangio is the Eagles defensive coordinator. I think a lot of the things the Packers struggled with last week are going to happen again. Solak had a great thing in his column at ESPN this week that the Packers crossed the 25-yard line like 6 times and only got 13 points, which happens like once a year. And that was the Packers last week. So they were able to move the ball. But the strategy is, honestly, the Panthers did a lot of like, we're going to sit back and we're going to let Jordan Love make a mistake. And that's exactly what happened. Like Jordan Love, like he gets antsy. He's the epitome of what we say, the ADHD quarterbacks, going back to all this conversation we had at like too high shells and like ADHD quarterbacks who were like just antsy to make it like, and that was Jordan Love trying to rip a pass into like triple coverage from his wrong base. And so him and Matt LaFleur were both talking this week about how they need to not just necessarily attack shot plays and try to string together drives and like just be patient. But without Tucker Kraft, and if Matthew Golden's banged up and Dontavian Wicks is an injury, and I'm like, I know the Eagles defense has issues, but they did just add 2 cornerbacks and a pass rusher. I don't know how much influence they'll have this week, but the combination of, I just think Vic Fangio is well suited to stop this Green Bay defense. And I really do think the Eagles are going to just shut. I think it can be sometimes a little dangerous to try to guess motivation, but dude, the Eagles are so fucking mad about this tush push thing. They're so much angrier than they're letting on.
Sirianni's going to have an impassioned speech before the game. About
Sirianni might get out there and run the tush push himself.
He might. Sirianni's public comments at the time were all the coaches that came from us better vote for keeping it because you wouldn't have a job without it. That was what he said publicly.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, it does. So Saquon practicing, AJ Brown practicing, coming out of the bye.
I think Tank Bigsby is a smart ad in leagues where he's available because if Saquon gets worse on Monday Night Football and national television, you will be able to trade Tank Bigsby to the Saquon person who has him or just keep him. We always joke about fantasy insurance, like the moment the guy goes down and you're like, what do you want for him? But Yeah, I don't know. The Packers, John Fitzpatrick and Luke Musgrave will rotate in at tight end for the Packers. Luke Musgrave might be worth adding if you're in a deeper league for tight ends. You don't have to play him. But
It's just stash, yeah.
Am I wrong? Am I overthinking it? Like the Eagles are getting 2.5 points. I look the alt line, the Eagles to win by 10. If you put 9.5, the Eagles to cover 9.5 is like 7-1 odds or something.
That should be our next move in Ringer 107 is to just take terrible odds.
We just start submitting like crazy.
Just go
lines.
0 for 5 every
Us
week.
doing alternate lines.
If our 5 picks were just Eagles getting 2.5, Eagles money line, Eagles giving 2, Eagles giving 5, Eagles giving 7.
Do you think we could? Is that allowed? Could we?
We
do
should
that?
submit that as a joke.
Could we
and
do
see
like
what happens.
Eagles plus 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, and 6.5?
We should submit that as a joke.
That's all we need is one game. We win. They just need to win by 7. We win every bet.
We go 5-0 or 0-5 or something. That's pretty funny.
That's actually really funny. I'm
Threes
kind
and
of,
layups.
I'm kind of down to like fuck with Ringer 7 in that way. Like, how funny would that be if we either go 0-5 or 5-0 if they just win by?
People
touchdown?
can get mad, but in reality, one of the rules, Bill, is like if you have that 5th game, can be like a combination of games, as long as the odds are basically even money or worse. And I'm like, it'd be funny if we just took a bunch of worse money odds.
Would we be allowed to bet Eagles plus 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6? Or no?
I think they would let us because it's stupid. Like mathematically, it's a really dumb idea.
And I guess it wouldn't be. It would be Eagles plus 2 and then plus 1 and then -1 and then -2 and then -2.
Or just do plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5.
No, but those odds would be lower. Plus, they'd have to be coming.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, giving. Yeah. Sorry, this is what DK was saying. It's Eagles to win by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
Anytime we say giving, DK just kind of like starts looking at
It's giving betting.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, today's Ringer 107 is brought to you by FanDuel. I know we've been doing favorites later. Washington. I want the Lions to beat Washington by 9 or more.
Same.
I just think they're going to run up the score. I kind of want
have
the
that
Eagles,
on my list.
Eagles. I mean, losing by 2.5 points or less. I kind of the Eagles getting points from Packers.
Same.
Is amazing.
That's on my list.
You want the
I want
Eagles
the-
plus 2.5? Okay.
The other one is Panthers winning by 5.5 points or more. Boys, there's a very limited window to bet against Tyler Shuck in this world.
And get less than a touchdown. Yeah.
I would like to bet against Tyler Shuck every week until he covers, and then we can have a conversation.
All right. They're the anti-Colts.
Yes, it's like I want to bet against because 12.5 for the Rams last week and it wasn't close. If they covers this week, we can talk about it. But until Tyler Shuck covers, I think we should just pencil in who's ever playing the Saints.
Okay.
What do you think about the Ravens minus 4.5 against the Vikings?
I have that on my list.
The Ravens are just kind of turning into a wagon again.
I'm fully on board.
Yeah.
I had the Ravens, and then I had the Patriots plus 2.5 against the Bucks.
If you both had the Ravens, let's add the Ravens as the 4th team.
Okay.
Patriots, the only other one I want to ask about is Jacksonville giving a 1.5. DK makes a good point that the only unit you trust in Jags versus Texans is the Texans D. I'm like, Davis Mills and the backup kicker?
I know, dude.
Yeah,
Why
but their
is this
defense
spread
is so
1.5? 1.5. I don't.
Their
DK's,
defense makes everyone look bad.
DK's right, though, about the defense and Lawrence. And
I don't want to bet the Jags.
Okay, then that's fair. So who's the 5th then?
What about New England plus 2.5 playing the Bucks? The beat up Bucks.
Hobbled Herbert.
Beat up Baker.
The beat up Buccaneers.
We can do the Pats. I mean, I don't want to have money on Browns Jets. I'll feel stupid
What about
either
the
way.
Colts? Are we off the Colts now?
Well,
failed
we
us
could
once?
ask you.
It's in Berlin, though.
We have two
right.
principles. Bet the Colts every week and never bet the Europe games. I kind of think the Europe games supersedes everything.
I agree. I don't want it.
Be nice
it's
to
an
wake
alternate
up
planet.
it would be nice to wake up on the West Coast and see the Colts just
Wake up
blowing
with a
out the
dub?
Falcons. Yeah, wake up with a dub. So
What
wake
about-
and bake?
What about Bills minus 9.5 playing the shitty Dolphins?
I'm just going to lay like a combined 40 points.
Because we tried this last week. We basically bet heavy favorites across the board and got destroyed.
1-4.
Let's do it again. Run it back.
I don't know. I think New England's good. And
Let's
New
do
England's
New
healthy.
England. Let's make that the 5th team.
All right.
Okay. All right. Lions, Eagles, Patriots, Ravens, Panthers. We have 2 underdogs, 3 favorites. Not bad.
Oh, we're going soft.
We've gone soft. No, that's good.
So
I'm
yeah,
happy with
Washington to be sorry. We're taking Detroit over Washington, Eagles over the Packers, Panthers over the Saints, Ravens over the Vikings, and Patriots over the Bucks.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Today's Ringer 107 is brought to you by FanDuel. Odds subject to change, especially if we text them and we actually just say we're taking the Eagles to win by 1, Eagles to win by 2, Eagles to win by 3.
I do want to do that.
That'd be funny. And they'll be like,
If it's week 18 and we're in first because we're still tied for first after this debacle last week going 1-4. We're still tied for first.
Okay. We answered some questions about physics, but the show is going long. You want to do this on Sunday or Monday? When do you want to do
No, I want one email. Let's do one.
Okay. So we asked about physics.
Yeah.
We were talking about
tell
atoms
us about physics.
Okay. So anyway, I don't know how we got here, but we're talking about like atoms of the reason you can't put your hand through a table or whatever. Craig, you were like, why can't you just put your hand through the table?
The Pete Holmes molecule. He's like, everything's molecules. Like, I don't understand why some molecules can't go through other molecules, but some can. Like, what the fuck?
So this is a classic like answer led to more questions. So shout out Derek who sent me this.
D-Bone.
Derek.
The full reason you can't, I think you guys will also have more questions than answers after this. The full reason you can't put your hand through a table involves the Pauli exclusion principle in quantum physics. So I have no hope of explaining it or fully understanding it, but essentially it comes down to the negative force of the electrons in the atoms. I'll say that again. The negative force of the electrons in the atoms that make up the table repel the negative atoms that make up your hand. So your hand is made of atoms, table's made of atoms, and the electrons around those atoms are repelling each other.
I mean, look, I'm strong enough to put my hand through a table. I just
you
want
are.
you to know that.
Well, maybe. But here's it. So this is where I was
through
like,
your face.
Yeah.
That means nothing to me, Heifetz. That's gobbling.
No, I know. This is the part that's good. that I was kind of like, okay. This is
negatively charged or negatively what?
None of that matters. This is the point.
Okay.
I read this sentence.
I don't understand either anyway, so who cares?
I read this sentence 7 times.
Okay.
The atoms in your hand are never actually touching the atoms in the table.
Right.
You knew this.
Well, the only reason why I know this is because Derek Thompson did an episode about quantum physics, and he talked about this a little bit about how there's like this one. There are certain scenarios sometimes where like when two objects meet, the molecules from one object and the molecules from the other will like switch sides for a second, even though they can't go through one another or something like that.
Like a wife swap.
Yeah, these molecules can pass back and forth a little bit.
Well, that's the yeah, dude. That's, I don't know. String theory is like the water's edge of my knowledge. Anyway, wait. So I was so blown away with this, and I said, "What do you mean the atoms in my hand never touch the atoms on the table?" And I was like, basically, like, so what about like touch? What about the sense of touch and texture and like what? And Derek wrote back, not Derek Thompson. Well, Derek Thompson, if you're listening, fucking
maybe this is deep.
This is Derek.
What's up?
No, I wish. Fucking Derek. Why haven't you answered this? Different Derek responded and said the atoms in your hand never touch the atoms in a table or anything else. It's more complicated. There's a more complicated explanation, but the short version is the same way that you have two sides of a magnet and they repel each other. And if you try to like get the magnets to touch each other, the force becomes stronger and stronger and really pushes away. That is the electrons that's happening on the atomic level. And that the force of the electrons pushing on each other is what we register as touch. To which I said, what about, and he's like, in terms of texture, it's like, imagine a shag carpet. And when you run your hand through it, you're feeling the repulsion force from each individual strand of carpet. So I guess texture is about the texture. It's really like how the electrons are pushing off. This blew my mind. I think I'd heard this, but I never really understood it.
So all we're feeling is the pushback of electrons when I'm touching a table. I'm not feeling a table. I'm feeling the electrons in the table push back against the electrons in my hand.
That feels insane, but that is what he's saying.
But how does it, like if I scratch myself with a pencil, there is a physical trace of the pencil on my hand.
I don't get it either. Yeah. Can someone else
That's just the pressure of the electrons creating the scratch?
No, that can't be right. Or maybe it is right. I don't know. I guess maybe it is right.
So nothing is ever touching.
This is the kind of shit. This is the kind of shit that like why people do their own research.
Yeah,
I'm like, this makes no sense to me. I'm
like, you know what?
Research.
Maybe it is just God.
I think I don't believe any of this.
Some 12-year-old.
You know what? Prove it. All right,
prove it, bitch. Some 12-year-old's gonna listen to this, and then like go to their sister and be like, "Stop touching me! Stop touching me!" They're like, "I'm not touching you. Actually, the electrons are repelling
like
the electrons. I'm not touching you.
I'm not punching you. The pressure of the molecules are punching you.
It's actually the repelling force of the electrons in my hand. It's impossible." That doesn't seem possible. It doesn't. You're right though. When I stab you with a knife, I'm like, oh, actually, it's the repelling force of the electrons.
Yeah.
If only Anthony Richardson knew that with the band that broke his orbital bone.
Feels like maybe we should start somewhere in the middle, like easier, like physics stuff. than
Shout
this.
There's this guy named Lucretius who from ancient Greece for thousands of years ago.
Yeah, shout out him.
And Elbone. And he
Elbone.
actually theorized
He fucking knew what's
the
up.
concept of atoms and molecules and electrons. He just some fucking guy just taking, I don't know, ancient Greek mushrooms or whatever. And he has this whole book on it, like his theory of the world. And he nailed it's like the beginning of The Good Place, where they're like, no religion got the afterlife right. One guy took a bong rip though and nailed it. You know, that scene where he was this one guy in ancient Greece just fucking nailed physics. And Thomas Jefferson had 2 copies of this guy's book in his library.
Wow.
Lucretius?
Shout out.
Are those
Lucretius.
at the library in? Can I still
Monticello?
find those? Is that book still around?
Yes. It's also in the.
You can't touch
I think
it though.
They moved the original to. It's
Is
in
it
the
UVA?
Library of Congress,
Oh.
and there are 2 copies of it confirmed. With my own.
That's
eyes.
cool.
Anyway, I don't know. I actually don't feel like anymore. But can anyone explain this more? Please email us at ringfantasyfootball.
I'm not even positive I want to know.
Okay.
Ignorance is bliss.
That's the true key to life.
Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Ronak. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Email us at ringfantasyfootball@gmail.com. We'll take fantasy courts. We'll take all your arguments and everything, your argument, your group chat. We'll settle it. Trivia about physics and trivia about dumber stuff too, because we probably can't have too much physics. Thank you, Lorne.
SNL was good this week. Miles Teller, good episode.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Ludicrous, the ancient Greek philosopher.
Shout out. Dude, someone just emailed us and said, I feel so old. I had to explain to an intern that Ludacris was a rapper.
And not an actor.
Yes. They were like, I was the oldest I've ever
Paul
felt.
Newman.
They were like,
Paul
Ludacris made
Newman.
music.
The Paul Newman test.
Yeah, the Paul Newman.
The Paul Newman effect.
The guy from
Yeah.
the hacker from Fast and Furious?
Has
Raps?
anybody
Jeff
ever been more?
Epstein? The financier?
Financier?
That's the fucking best meme. Has anyone ever been more famous as an actor than Paul Newman, but known for something else by young people? Paul Newman was like the biggest movie star in the world for like 20 years.
I got one. Probably Ronald Reagan.
That's a good one.
But was
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan a famous actor?
I don't know, actually.
I think he was.
Was he a big? I feel
He
like
got
he was
elected.
just an actor, not like a big deal.
Not A-list.
No,
Was he just
right?
trained? I actually don't know if he was like a famous actor.
I think he was pretty famous.
Oh,
I wasn't alive back then.
Because you can't say Arnold Schwarzenegger because he's still known as an actor.
That one's more of a fun fact of like, I think young
The
people.
other
Like,
one.
I feel like
Governor?
Kai would be like, he was the governor of California. Like, that would be like,
He went into
like, I feel like
politics?
somewhere there's a 22-year-old listening to this show is like, Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor of California.
he
Like,
was
yes.
reelected.
California.
Crazy. In retrospect, that's insane.
He was reelected.
That's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
He just was. Oh my god.
Donald Trump?
That's well, he wasn't in movies.
You
Well, I
mean
guess Home
the
Alone too.
famous TV show creator?
I guess he was very famous as a reality TV host.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe, I guess.
When they write, if this country doesn't die by various.
But people
atomic
know that.
means-
I think people, I mean, like everybody knows he was a reality TV
Yeah.
star. And like, I think a 20-year-old knows Trump was a reality TV star way more than they knew Paul Newman was an actor. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, they're not. Yeah, just Paul Newman salad dressing guy. They're like, did he do other stuff?
They probably don't even know that because like how many 20-year-olds are familiar with like salad dressing labels?
Did you guys use the George Foreman grill
Oh,
when you were in college and whatnot?
That's a funny
'Cause
one.
That
It
was
was
fucking
ubiquitous.
huge when
That's
I was in
funny.
college.
that's a good one.
The
I don't
grill
remember.
guy
There's a
fought Muhammad
comedian-
Ali.
A comedian that did a bit on the George Foreman grill that's really good. And I'm sorry because I can't remember who it was, but it was like basically like George Foreman got briefed on the George Foreman grill, and then they decided never to do anything else with it. They were like, "Yep, let's go for it." He's like, "Does it have an on-off button?" Nope. You just plug it in. Does it have multiple levels of temperature? Nope. Just one temperature.
Hot.
There's a whole bit.
It's like
on
the
it. It's
Arrested
great.
Development, the cornball machine.
Yeah, everyone gets sued.
And then George is like, what do you want to name this kid, George? He's like, George. What about your next kid, George? What
Does
about
he
your
have
next
like
kid?
12 kids named George?
I think he has 6 kids named George.
Love it. Anyway, did you know that he was a boxer? I mean, did you know O.J. Simpson was a football player?
Honestly, that's not a bad one.
Who?
OJ.
O.J. Simpson, the football player.
OJ's pretty good. I think a lot of people might just be like, that guy just murdered his
He
like,
started
girlfriend, right?
coming up with like in more like searches. Someone, I think Jonathan Taylor had something of who's had touchdowns, Who's had this many touchdowns through week 6? And it's like LaDainian Tomlinson, Sean Alexander, OJ Simpson. Oh, yeah. Right.
Let's get some emails on that. Let's make a list. I like this idea.
It
Cool.
probably is. Probably is Paul Newman, but OJ is not a bad one, actually.
The Paul Newman effect.
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Abe Lincoln. He was a famous wrestler. His wrestling exploits were legendary.
Do you think people knew Dwayne The Rock Johnson was a wrestler?
I think it would be more like, did you know The Rock was a football player?
Yeah, but he didn't play.
He wasn't famous.
He was in
that.
college.
He was in like practice squad.
But The Rock was like a super famous WWE star.
Yes.
Craig's right that like people might not know he was in the WWE. Like I know he just went back and did a bunch of stuff, but that might have been like news.
Well, didn't you
honestly,
guys,
John Cena is another one. John Cena, people might not know either.
Yeah, but he still does WWE. But you're right that some people might not know that. You're right. Actually, if you're like 18, why would you know that John Cena was a
What about Triple X? Did you guys know that? We had this conversation. We had this conversation on this pod. You guys didn't know that Will Smith did a rap album before he did Fresh Prince.
That's true. I had no idea.
I knew he was a
at the
rapper,
same
but
time,
you're right.
maybe,
I didn't know that before.
I thought all his music was when he like for basically like things he was making.
Yeah.
Did you know Hilary Duff was an actor?
What is she now?
A pop star.
Oh, is she? I wouldn't.
Oh.
I mean, that one, yeah, I did know that.
I don't know if I'd consider her a pop star now.
I was not being serious.
Okay. I thought you were going to be like, she started a a tractor business. It's huge.
Now, goodbye, everyone. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.